Okay, hello, greetings and welcome. Okay, so this video is on increasing your intuition. So each of the six gates, the five senses and the mind itself, has a connection to the physical world, and it has a connection into the astral world. And the bridge between these two worlds is what we call the astral matrix. And it's a magnetic fluid enlivened by life force which transfers information between the astral and physical experience. So to awaken a sense gate astrally, we need to build a bridge across that astral matrix, and we need to concentrate the awareness through it. So let's say if we're going to use eye consciousness as an example, and you wanted to develop clairvoyance. So the first thing we're going to do in this process is bring the eye consciousness into equanimity. And we do this qualitatively and quantitatively. So you observe through the eye consciousness the rise and falling away of thoughts. So you basically have your eyes open, full peripheral vision, and just watch your thoughts rise and fall away. As you're watching your thoughts rise and fall away, the eye consciousness will become very still. You'll accumulate a type of emptiness, stillness around eye consciousness. From there, we move into one point of concentration. So you take a meditation object, and then you put your eye consciousness onto that object, and then you simply hold it, and you lock on like a pit bull. You take a combat attitude, eyes of a hawk, and then when your mind's stable holding that meditation object, you move from there to softening while maintaining that stability until the stillness accumulates. And as that stillness accumulates, you'll find a type of tunnel vision that your mind just absorbs into the object, and there's just an empty space around it, and you get this kind of tunnel vision into the object. And that brings you into the quantitative form of that eye consciousness concentration. From there, we move into the stillness that was being accumulated in those first two exercises. So that stillness, it's two different types of stillness. When you're observing the rising and falling away, there's a distance between you and the thoughts that increases as the stillness increases. And it's very soft. It's a very, very, very gentle type of stillness. Where when you're working on samadhi, it's like a sword. It's very clear. It's very cut. It's very. It's got a type of will, and it's almost as if there's a sheen, a gloss underneath that stillness that is very distinct. It's very clear stillness. It's not like the softness of observing the rising and falling away. Now, these two types of stillness, when you make them your meditation objects, you open up different parts of your eye consciousness. There's different types of equanimity that come out of them. So depending on the type of clairvoyance you want to develop, as to which one of these you're going to work with, but we can cover that in particular later. Next, you're going to develop the visual cortex. So you want to take objects, look at the object with your eyes, close your eyes, and then hold the object in your mind's eye. Now, if you enliven this object with life force, so you breathe life force into the object, you'll plasticize it with life force. It'll create a life force inside your mental body, and you'll be able to hold that object visually much more easily. So you can enliven objects with life force to start with, but eventually you just want to glance at something and to be able to hold it there. So the information, visual information, can arise from stillness, flow through your mind, and you can just observe these visualizations rising, falling away. You want to work this visual skill in first, second, and third person. So it's you that's doing something, it's you watching someone else do something, and then there's a fly on the wall or consciousness underlying space watching something. So these three different perspectives are very, very important because they will reflect different type of clairvoyance. If you are looking at the aura of a person, It's first person looking at another person. If you're looking at the past, present, or future, you need second person because you're removed from it. And in third person, being just consciousness underlying space, this allows you to go deeper into timelessness. It allows you to master mental wandering, to put your mind in a different place and see what's there, and allows you access to a lot of information that you normally wouldn't be able to get involved in and get connected to without this type of concentration. So from there, once we've done those mental exercises, then we start vital breathing through the eyes, through the physical eyes to start with. And we do the first transformation. We do astral breathing through the astral eyes. And it's through this breathing that we build the mental astral matrix that's really essential for clairvoyant work. So the vital breathing and the first transformation exercise builds that connectivity for your clairvoyance to function. You want to be conscious in the astral plane, and for this you need to develop the astral matrix for that consciousness to connect from the physical world into the astral world. So the first transformation exercise is the key to that, and you're practicing the first transformation exercise leading the energy with the eyes. You can qualitatively control energy with the eyes, and you can qualitatively see energy with eye consciousness. You need to do both. If you can control energy, sight naturally arises. So the control has to be through the mind intent of the eye consciousness. So the breathing in through the eyes, out through the eyes, vitally, astrally and mentally, builds these preconditions. If you want to develop prophetic vision, then you would look at doing more Akasha work and breathing Akasha in and out through the eyes, using the eye consciousness to intend that energy movement in and out through the eyes. From there, we'd work with non-dual light. So you do the first, second, and third transformation, connect into non-dual light, and make a prayer from within that non-dual light to invoke the type of clairvoyance you want to work with. You'd stream that light through the crown, down into the center of gravity of the mental body, the upper dantian, and then from there you'd radiate it out through the eyes and create a stream of this consciousness. Now this non-dual light, it's not matter, it hasn't manifested into that. It's mind substance that is undivided. But as soon as it hits the mental body, it's going to divide. But we want to minimize that division. So we stay within the feeling of the non-dual light that you experience when you're outside of your body, and we pass it through the body and allow it to separate into its dual state in the form of the information that we put in the prayer of clairvoyance, and it will do so on its own accord. But our intent is still remaining within the non-dual to get that dual effect to arise of clairvoyance. Once you've trained the mental eyes in this way, then you bring it into the astral eyes. And the astral eyes, the energy becomes much thicker, much denser, and you build a very large amount of pressure in your eyeballs, and you feel it in your physical eyes as well as the astral eyes. And then once you've worked with bringing the light through the astral planes, through your astral eyes, and you've got the physical pressure there, then you enliven the life force with light, and you breathe the light and life force together through the physical eyes, completing that process. To amplify this further, you can place all the elements into a ball of cotton and make a tincture of eyebright. So eyebright is a herbal tea, and boil it up in a glass pot, filter it a few times, and then put 3 drops. After you've charged it, earth, water, fire, air, akasha, light, prayer, with the frequency of clairvoyance, you put 3 drops in 2 balls of cotton, 3 drops on each. You place them on your eyes, and then you just put a blindfold on. You lay down on your back, and so that the moisture can settle onto the eyelids and into the eyes, and then you do your exercises lying down. I found I got better result lying down than sitting up for this exercise. So experiment with both of them. And this acts as an amplifier because that energy you put into that light, which is sitting and resting on your physical eyes, is emanating through your astral eyes, is emanating through the mental eye, and is emanating through the akasha into the non-dual light realm where you placed the prayer, and it's synchronizing all those levels together. So you get a faster, more sped up effect for that type of clairvoyance. Okay, so as you play with these exercises, your intuition is going to guide you in different ways of doing it to suit your path, suit your function. And that uniqueness is important, that every person who does each exercise does it in their own way, and their intuition guides them to get the result at a peak speed and rate for them. If you were tried to copy something identical to someone else, it would be slowed down. It wouldn't be working at that peak speed because you haven't taken ownership of it yet. To take ownership of this type of information, you need to allow your intuition to guide it in a very unique way that's suitable for you, and then you can optimize those effects as you develop that particular skill. Okay, so I hope this helps with the development of clairvoyance, and we'll cover the other sense gates on future videos. I've already got some on the Vimeo channel, so you can have a look there, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for your time.